Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. So this will be the final part of this Mother of Dragons Mariola Boudet page. Now, I want to base, this might be a mistake, it might be a mistake, but I want to go over the hair with some white acrylic. Now I'm going to wash it down as soon as I click record. I'll load the car, and I've got the window open because it's warm. Yeah, so I'm using the Deco Art Americana white acrylic paint. Now you've heard me go on and on and on about the black. I do like the white as well. Now my idea is I want to fade out some of these lines and then go back in and create my own hair. And then like do some wispy bits of hair, possibly with the acrylic paint. If not this, I'll use an acrylic paint pen or a gel pen. Let's see which works better. So yeah, let's get started. This is a resin palette that I made ages and ages and ages ago, and I just use it for acrylic paint now. I think, like I said, I am going to water this down quite a lot to get it at the consistency that I want. I'm going to be trying my best to be careful because I don't want it going everywhere. Just mix it in as best as I can. And what I will do, I'll test it on here. These are the colours that I used for this skin, so I'll test it on here now that I don't need this anymore. Let's do another test on here because I think I might need more water. No, that should be alright because I think it'll dry a little bit lighter than that as well. Not much because it's not like watercolour, but a little bit. And for the edges I have pulled out a teeny tiny, I need to purchase some more really small brushes because they don't last forever, these cheapy ones, especially when I'm using them for acrylic. So I'm going to go around the edges as well really. I don't mind keeping the lines on her face. I might just stick to using this one just so it's a little bit more precise, and then if it needs another layer I'll use the bigger one. But I don't want to completely get rid of the lines, I just want to like sort of fade them out almost. I'm going to have to go over the whole of the hair because I'm just realising now that this white doesn't match the white of the paper, which is strange. I don't want blobs of colour because when it comes to pencil work over the top, that's when it'll destroy your pencils. I think I might have to shut my window because the dog's going doolally as well. She's constantly on high alert when that window's open, like thinking intruder, intruder, even though it's somebody parking the car up. Dogs. So I think this should work nicely. Now I'm not going to use my really expensive pencils going over the top of this because it will eat away at the core of the pencil because the paper is going to be rough after we've applied this paint. But I've not figured out a way yet of lightening the grayscale up because I do like certain areas to be as dark as they are. But in other areas, like this for instance, I would have liked it to be lighter. So if you know of an app that I can download and do that, that would be helpful. That was a lot thicker there then. I'm going to have to switch between brushes because I'm getting sort of like lumps because of the tiny brush. Let's see if I can get away with it with this one. I just know what I'm like, I'm really impatient and just want it done. So then that's when the work gets messy. So instead of pulling it down there, I'll work a little bit on this side. That should be okay. And I will have to let this completely dry before I attempt to go over the top with pencils, otherwise you'll just rip your paper. Now I do want to leave some line art around the dragon. You could do this technique as well in your colouring boots, as long as you don't use too much water, depending the paper. I mean, I've even done this on Amazon printed paper. It works, but you just have to be awfully careful. I think that might be a bit of skin that I missed there. Well, it's been her now. Now I think she's gone downstairs. The joys of having animals, it's literally a full-time job keeping an eye on her. But that has worked beautifully. You can see the difference between here and at the bottom. So yeah, if you want to lighten any colouring page up, a bit of watered down white acrylic will do the trick. So what I'll do now is I'll let this completely dry, and then if I notice any areas that are a little bit darker than the rest, I will add another layer and let that completely dry, and then come back to do the pencil work. Now, I don't think I need a lot of pencil work, oops, on this one. That's the beauty with Mariola Boudette's pages, especially with it being white. I don't want to add loads and loads of colour, maybe some greys, some grey tones. Let's just quickly... Right, I'm fiddling now, I'm faffing. So I will let this dry for about 15 minutes and then come back to it, double check it. If it needs any more layers, then I'll do that, and then we'll come back with the pencil work. So I've ended up pulling out my Arteza pencils, and I'm just using 2 pencils. So it's really, really simple, and a bunch of acrylic paint pens and gel pens, because I've been having a nightmare, to be honest, with gel pens and anything like that. So I've pulled 4 different ones out, 2 Arteza brands, a Sunis acrylic paint pen, and then the Uniball Signal, and I'll test all them out and decide, because I want to put some highlights in the eyes as well as other areas as well, just to highlight them a bit. Now this should be dry, it should be dry. I did leave it for about 15 minutes, and I went over the top of certain areas, and then I just popped the heat gun on it just to 100% make sure that it was okay. The 2 colours of the Arteza pencils that I've pulled out is Smoke Grey and Ash Black. Now you're probably thinking, why she whited out all of that to add Ash Black back in? Well, I've tested them out here, and if you use a really light hand, it is really light, so I think I'll get away with that. And then the same with this one as well. It's really, really light, so I think that'll work just fine. So I'll do this the same way as I've done this whole colour along. I'll do a portion of it, time lapse the rest for you, and then come back to do all the highlights with hopefully a pen that will work decently. You can see here with the Arteza one, I've used a lot of it. There's only a teeny tiny little bit of it left. So I'm hoping, keeping my fingers crossed that it works. It works okay. So I'll do the plaits, I think. So I'll start off down here. I'm hoping that this is dry enough. It feels dry to the touch, but I'm a bit nervous now, especially having the camera on, because that isn't picking up the colour very much. Maybe this darker one would be a little bit better. It has completely changed the texture of the paper, but I was excuse me, I was expecting that. So I'm just going over what Mariola's done, but really lightly, really lightly. I don't think I'm going to end up using this, to be honest. I don't think it's going to show up very well, so I have to stick with the one pencil. So one pencil hair colour. So the way that I'm doing it, if I'm starting off at the bottom, I'm pulling the colour up, and as it's getting to the middle, I'm going into a really light pressure, because I want the middle to be the lightest highlighted area. And now normally, if I hadn't painted it, I'd be using a lighter shade to sort of blend that, but obviously I'm not going to do that step with this one. Then pulling the colour up. Missed a little bit there, but you see how it does make a difference. Instead of just leaving it as it is, it's just one little extra step, and I think that it does make a huge difference. Well, in real life it does anyway. In real life, I think I'll do her eyebrows as well in real time, because they're looking a bit strange. I think it needs to match the hair. I forgot actually how nice our teaser pencils are. It's because I've not used them in a long time. So pulling the colour up and then pulling the colour down, but you don't want to meet in the centre. Just want to keep that bit as a highlight. I'm not using hard pressure at all. I'm being really light-handed for me anyway. And I'll do this last little section here and then move on to the eyebrows. Now with the longer pieces of hair as well, just follow where Mariola's already put them, because if you brought the colour down here, I've done this before myself, and pulled the colour up as well and just left the line there, it doesn't look natural at all. Obviously if you're not going for the natural look, then that's fine, but yeah, that's why I like the Mariola Boudet pages, especially for beginners, because she's showing you where to put your shadows. Right, so let's get these eyebrows done. Now I'm going to make these a little bit darker, so it's the same as the hair, you're just pulling up. Oh, my belly's rumbling. I want them to be a little bit fuller on this side. Well, that's the gist of it. I'm not going to mess around anymore with the eyebrows, so I'll do the rest time lapse and then come back and do all the highlights. So I'm happy with that hair now. Now let's test some of these pens. So that one doesn't look too bad. This is the Sakura Jelly Roll, isn't it? Signal, what's it called? Uniball Signal, yeah, that's what it's called. I'll go over some of these areas. I'm not going to do the whole thing, I don't want to. See what I mean? Actually, on there it looks fine, but then when you try and... it's coming out a little bit there, but it's really patchy, and this is what I don't like about them. So I'll try the Soonest pen. Give it a shake. Let's see if this... no, there we go. That's better. So I want to add some like baby hairs and some wispy bits. And maybe some around her face as well. Yeah, that's working better. Here's some wavy ones around the face. It's not showing up brilliantly, but it's better than the other one. And it will put some highlights in her eyes where they already are. And then in the dragon's eye as well. And then I want some on certain scales as well going around. I'm wondering now whether I should have added some freckles to her face, but I probably should have done that before doing anything else, because I would have used like a paint splatter effect. So it's too late now, but it's just an idea. See, it's not showing up as well as I would want it to. Oh, but it's there. It's there. Maybe I need to open a new one up, because this one is at least 3 or 4 months old, this one. On his claws as well. And then some on the tail. I did think about adding some stickles to this page, but I don't think there's anywhere really that I can add them. I don't want them on the dragon, and I think it'll look a bit strange on the hair. But I think I'm going to leave it as that and not fuss with it too much more. So I hope that you enjoyed this colour along. I know it's irritating sometimes it being a 3-parter, but needs must. But there she is, complete. So the Mother of Dragons, I think it's called, or is it Baby Dragon? Mother of Dragons, I think it was, by Mariola Budek. And my favourite bit of this illustration is definitely the dragon, which I tried to make it look like Cyrax from House of the Dragon. So if you did like this video, please leave me a big thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!